Good morning, good morning. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone's having a great morning and a great trading session so far. Good morning, Pred. How are you this morning? Give me a second. I have to bring up the chat because this application is very stupid. I thought the update they just did would fix the docking problem, and it did not. So let's put that there. Good morning, Applejacks. Good morning, Amelia. How are you guys this morning? All right, looks like I should be okay now. All right, so I'm a little late to the charts, mainly because I had to fix this. Basically, every time I'm about to go live, I have to disconnect my YouTube channel from the program and reconnect it every morning. Because otherwise it basically puts the chat window in a place where I can't move it. So I thought that when I logged on this morning, because it had an update, that it would be fixing that issue, but alas, it did not. Yeah, so that's that. That's that. Thought it would fix it. All right, so I'm going to be trying something today. I'm opening up my stop loss a little bit. Nothing else has really changed but that. There we go. Yeah, opening up my stop loss so that basically the stop loss will be like 28 ticks for a TP of 22. And we'll see how I like that. Might as well do it now while I'm still trading evals. Like I said, I'm not really the biggest fan of making my risk to reward that negative, because it's basically been a 1-to-1 this whole time. And then at some point I opened it up for it to be like 23 tick stop loss for a 22 tick take profit. But I think I need to open it up a little bit, so we'll see. Sure, yeah, that's right. Okay, so we'll see what happens. No, we both need to be efficient. Nope, that one can't be efficient. Well, you are moving and grooving a little bit today, which I guess is a good thing. A couple of these were almost right, like this was almost right, but I needed this number to be blue. And why is, okay, that just fixed itself. All right. It's crazy because I thought I wanted to switch to a 16 tick chart today because of you know how slow everything has been. I probably would have been screwed a little bit trying to do it today because the volatility is so much higher than it's been lately. Okay. No, I missed it. God dang it. I was just sitting here, sitting in my head, telling myself what I was looking for, but the point of control moved at the last second though, so kind of not my fault a little bit. Damn. Finally get what I'm looking for. Alright, now that I got myself together, I should be fine. I forgot there was some stuff I needed to add to my cheat sheet last night, and I just forgot to. Oh no. Please don't hold me. Thank you. I did not want to be in that trade. I thought the the point of control was gonna stay in the wick. It went to the body, and what the fuck? And furthermore, the point of control was neutral. Oh, I guess it would have still worked out, but it's just not what I was looking for. Hopefully we don't hover around this point of control very much, but we'll see. Oh, it attached itself. Thought it wasn't gonna attach. Alright, so I'm looking for the next pullback. And we gotta stop for news now. I'll be right back. I gotta get some water. Amber, turn that what you call I'm going to wash some clothes. I just put myself All right, guys, sorry. Had to make sure my granny was good. Rumor mill is on fire these days, girl. What's the rumors? I haven't been in Discords or anything. Like at all. I think I missed this. Yep, it's gone. Fuck. That's like at least two good trades that I missed. This is 4,000. What a push. What a push. And I was supposed to be in that trade. That's what makes it worse. It is pushed up 100, almost 200 ticks from the entry I tried to do down there. Okay, are we gonna stop at any point? Wasn't efficient. Good morning, Trenches. How are you this morning? Real cool. He really trying to open another company? I thought that's just been a rumor for a while. PW had drama yesterday too. Good morning, Janelle. How are you this morning? He booted one of the people off yesterday. Okay, is this the head-to-head thing where like the two people that he choose, that thing that he's been, because I think this would be like his second time doing it, right? Nice and green today. Yeah, kind of off of an accident though, but that's all right. Prize is 25K. Ah, got you, got you. Yeah, I've missed two trades. Actually, this 200 plus tick move up started here. This bounce off the support level. I tried to get in, but I was late. Tried to get in. There was another one that I tried to get into as well, but was late, so I couldn't. At least I'm actually getting entries today, though. That's nice, because has not been that way for the last couple of days, that's for sure. If it doesn't become efficient, I have to break even, and I might hold myself and lose. If I do, that's fine. Because I kind of screw myself because if I wait until, okay, this is what happens. So I wanted this to be efficient. It was close enough to the number. I don't know exactly what it needed to be, but it was close enough to where it could have gotten there. But if I take the order off and then I wait, then I kind of screw myself sometimes because everything happens so fast, I can't get into it like earlier. So I'm just going to have to eat the losses sometimes when like the numbers are really close to being what I want it to be. And it just kind of is what it is. Like this. This was close to where I wanted it to be until the bar closed, and then it just took off. But I wouldn't have gotten filled anyway. Or it wasn't what I wanted it to be until the bar closed, and then it just took off. But I wouldn't have gotten filled anyway, so it's cool. Is this account blown yet? No, it's $100 left in it. Cool. I was not gonna stress myself out to try to get that account where it needed to be anyway. I had already made my mind up. I was gonna purposely fail it. Let's see. Oh, it's the girls this time. Show me. Yesterday, you sent me their money since they were about to head out of this thing. Janelle, you are crazy. I saw a reel that said something about the rapture is here, and the song that was in the background was singing "I'm Still Here." Like, people are such trolls. Oh man, the female trying to explain her trading case. Insulted her and kicked her off. Russell might be your safe place. Insulted her and kicked her off is crazy. Oh, that's a trap. I don't want to trap. OT is one of the dividend stocks? Is that what that is? Down 11%. So it looks like if I continue with the stop loss being opened up, remember yesterday I was talking about making the stop loss like halfway up the wick, but I don't think it has to be that far. So it looks like I'm basically going to be risking about $145 to make 105, which is just an extra $25 per contract per trade on losses, which isn't really that bad, to be honest. I can live with that. I can definitely live with that. It's not the right one. Hold on, y'all. I'm looking for something. Oh, it's this one. How did I do that? Let's see. Granite. They couldn't even have a rally here because they crashed it. Oh my goodness. No, y'all. So I've been playing 2K lately. Y'all, why have it been a bunch of little kids been trolling and making characters that look like Charlie Kirk with the suit and everything? So one little boy made the face look just like him, and he had a tattoo that went across his chest. I'm not gonna tell y'all what it said, but just know it was so inappropriate. Like, people on games are such trolls. Such trolls. Oh, we're pushing towards the value area high. We are right above the 30-minute opening range. So I'm curious to see if we drop back inside of it. So no one cares about the school shooting that happened in Colorado a few weeks ago. No, of course he didn't do that. Of course not. 817. How about I just do this when it's too close? So I don't get caught in a loss unnecessarily, like I just did earlier. Point of control changed. What happened? What happened with what? Just snake artery turned into a waterfall. Listen to that. I only knew who he was because there's certain I forget what the guy's name is. Maybe Matt Walsh. I watch his content here and there. Nothing too crazy. I don't really consume very much like news type stuff personally. It's just not my zhuzh. I think that my grandma consumes more than enough of that kind of stuff just because she likes to talk about it all the time. So I figure if it's something that's important for me to know, she will absolutely let me know. She sure will. So I don't bother. Oh, my last trade, I wasn't supposed it was what I wanted it to be until the bar closed, like right before the bar closed. And so I set my take profit to break even to try to, get out of it, but it stopped me out and then went anyway. So yeah, that's why. That's why, like, I basically, when it's kind of close to being invalidated, I just need to pause and just not get in until after the bar closes, basically. So yeah, that's why I wasn't even supposed to be in it. It just invalidated itself too late. Hello, just go. All right. Did I lose on that trade? How? Oh. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. That just closed me. So the follower account closed me out because I hit the max loss limit, which was my goal on this account. I want to start it over. I wasn't going to bring that account back. Hell no. I gotta watch the playback. I don't think the value area high was there at the time I took the trade. I'm pretty sure. So one of the other things I'm trying to figure out is if the value area high and low actually matter, because I traded so long without even knowing those levels were there, and I don't really know if it's affected my trades or not. Although that trade right there wouldn't have mattered. I would have taken it anyway. But still. Leave NQ. Bloody markets today. No expectation of another rate cut. I'm not even sure. The word on the curve is news down there. You know what? When shortly after that happened, a bunch of HBCUs started getting bomb threats and this kind of threat and that kind of threat. It's like the fact that I just don't be understanding. I don't. And then even when the news tells you exactly who caused the problem, you still want to target Black people. I just will never understand. I won't. I can't and I won't. So let's see what happens with this trade, if it even pushes down from here, which it might not. Exactly, Janelle. Just the fact that we're still getting blamed is just insane to me. Insanity. That's a trap. That's not what I'm looking for. Oh, Amelia, you didn't know who it was either till you asked your friend. So I think because I've consumed Matt Walsh content before, that his content came up on my news feed before. I'm not a fan of saying and doing things to purposely incite anger and rage in people. Regardless of what your opinions are about stuff, there's like ways to do and say things, right? And so I'm just not a fan of inciting rage and anger in people, personally. I think anytime you are on any extreme of any spectrum and you do things to piss people off because you want to, I think that's a problem, personally. Because there's a lot of things that I agree with certain things, with certain people, but it's just the way that you do things, you know? Like me and my friend were having a conversation about the trans community after that one white guy with the curly hair who likes to purposely go around, the one that was trying to sue Disney, he purposely goes around trying to piss people off. I feel like commit. If you want people to look at you as a woman, quote unquote, then stop walking around with flat chests and looking like a man. Go get facial surgery. Go get boobs. Kind of like, what's the one? Blair White, I think. at least somewhat look like a woman, and you can't be so mad that people don't think that you are one. But anyway, so we were having a conversation about that, and I was just telling him, I was like, look, people can identify as a piece of paper if they want to. But the biggest thing, like in healthcare, right? Me working in psych for almost a decade. One of the things that we learn, the first things we learn in psych is that you are not ever, when somebody is in psychosis, they don't even have to be in like an acute rage psychosis. It can be somebody who has some kind of psych disorder that's long term, where they think they're in the CIA and their cousin is the president. Like, I'm talking any level of psychosis or delusion. Okay. We are literally taught not to ever, ever, ever validate delusion. Validate any delusion, whether they are in acute psychosis or chronic psychosis. You are never supposed to validate it because it makes things worse. That side of healthcare, the gender affirming and all this other stuff, that is literally the only, and I mean the only, delusion that in healthcare we are forced to accept and validate. And that says a lot. And in the process of that, if you notice, things have gotten worse over time. When you look at that community and what it was when we were kids, I had my bowling coach in high school. He wasn't trans per se, but he was a cross-dresser. When you look at the old school people in that community, it is totally different than what this crap is today. Part of it I do blame on social media, but still, it's a mess. Okay, it's a real life mess. Real life. And that is my only issue, is that, like, from a scientific standpoint, that is why there is a reason why, if you want to cut your balls off, if you as a man want breast implants, anything like that, you have to go through like a year of psych evals first. Okay? There's a reason. So I don't say it from like a disrespectful standpoint. I'm saying it from a professional standpoint. It is delusion. And this is why you cannot validate things that are just literally untrue. You just can't. Rage bait on the internet is profitable. Absolutely it is. It's all about the grift. Absolutely. Yep. And honestly, even outside of politics, it just that's the content that sells, unfortunately. It creates so much rage in people. And I thought that was going to be it creates so much rage in people, number one. And number two, like, I've talked about this before, where I don't know why I don't do this, but I don't ever leave good reviews of things. I don't. But if I have a horrible experience, I will leave a review. I will make I don't post on social media anymore, but I would make a post about it, And that's a lot of people. So you might see some content that you like, right? And you might just love the reel or love the post or like the post, but you won't really make comments. Comments typically come from people who don't agree. And because of, like Janelle said, the algorithm, now because you have so many comments of people disagreeing, then you have people that come into the comments and disagree with the people that are disagreeing. And that is what creates the viral content, unfortunately. Did it move up? It did. 35. creates a lot of division. I agree. And I think that I think that the participation trophy environment and era that has been created has made it to where people don't know how to have healthy disagreements. Number one, people don't know how to participate without being right, if that makes sense. Like, they just don't. They just don't. And it's funny that I say that because if I call my best friend right now, he will tell you that he does not try to get into debates or arguments. We don't argue ever. But he doesn't try to get into debates with me because he knows I'm going to win, because he knows that I'm only going to debate with you when I know I'm right. And I don't only debate because I know I'm right. It's just like most of the time it'll be something where I'm like, oh, hell no, I can't let that slide. But yeah, people just don't know how to participate in healthy debates. And I think that sometimes also is just because of how people grow up. Like, they grow up in households where they don't see healthy disagreements. They probably also grew up in a household where they didn't have a voice. Like, I had a voice even as a child. And so for me, it's nothing for me to speak up. It's nothing for me to have a healthy disagreement with someone because I was able to disagree with my parents. I would give my side, they would give their side, and that was just that. And I just think that people just don't know no better. And some people actually get off on making other people angry. That's another part of it, too. That is another part of it. Some people really do. Oh, equal volume. Gotta push down a little bit more. Hypocritical thinking, which leads to not accepting anyone who disagrees with you. Absolutely. And then people are not okay with, we talk about this in trading, right? People are just not okay with being wrong. But I think even on top of that, it's not just about not wanting to be wrong. I think that people have, it's an ego and pride thing of not just accepting being wrong, but being unwilling to learn something new, right? You're not even willing to understand the facts that goes into why you are incorrect in whatever you believe, because whatever we believed is shaped based off of our experiences, based off of things we've learned other time, either through school, through our own experiences, through experiences of other people. And so sometimes with certain things we just have a limited view and we have limited knowledge, which is fine. However, when someone presents some facts to you about something, I mean, maybe you should just kind of at least look into it. Nobody's saying that you have to just agree right off the rip. Because some people have alternative facts, meaning it ain't really true. But yeah, I think people just have a problem with people not seeing things the way that they see things. We got this. This needs to push up a little bit more. Actually, I'm not going to be interested in it anymore anyway. I needed the volume to stay below 1.3, but didn't. Have you leaned into trading fibs? Hello, insert name here. I've traded fibs before. Way back in the day. Actually, one of the trades that I learned from Major League Trading, this is when I used to trade binary options on Nadex. I think this was called the charge trade. It was an open trade, not an open range. It was an open trade where at the open, I don't remember if you used, overnight data or not. I'm pretty sure you didn't, and I forget what time frame it was on, but basically at the open, you would wait however many bars, I forget how many bars it was, and then you would draw a fib level or draw a fib, and then you would enter, I'm pretty sure, off the 50% level. And it was a trade that was set up about 3 times a week if you stayed on one instrument. I've also traded fibs even outside of that particular strategy. There was at one point in time where I actually was trading fibs with the Renkos on swings. So basically every swing I would draw a fib kind of thing, because this swing indicator that's painting the volume and stuff of each swing, it actually has the ability to auto draw fibs on each swing, but I just never honed into that. Use previous day and week and SMA EMA. Nice. What SMA and EMA settings do you use? Parents are no longer holding their kids accountable for anything. They grow to be horrible adults. I 100% agree. I have exes who are like that. I was just talking to my grandma about that because basically yesterday, no, 2 days ago, this woman here went viral. Basically she was saying that, okay, her story didn't make sense. Let's start there. So we already knew like something's up with this. So anyway, she makes a post basically saying that she got a call from, okay, she has multiple daughters. They go to different schools. I'm assuming one is in high school, one is in middle school. Okay. So she says that she gets a call from her daughter that's in high school, their school, to tell her that her daughter in middle school is not in school. That already kind of didn't make sense to me, but whatever. So she proceeds to say that her husband had just dropped her daughter off, and I probably just missed that trade, huh? Oh no, I didn't. Her husband had just dropped their daughter off, and shortly after her daughter got dropped off, some man came in, said that they had a death in the family, was boohoo crying, putting on a show to where the secretary was then boohoo crying. And I think when the little girl came up there, mind you, she's in 8th grade. I forgot to say this part. The girl is in 8th grade. The girl in 8th grade comes in the office. She's boohoo crying with the man and leaves with him. They didn't check his ID. Didn't check to make sure he was on the checkout list. They just let her leave with him. Okay, this is the story that's being told. She said then her daughter says she gave him some kind of drink. It must have been laced with drugs, because the only thing she remembers is waking up to the police shaking her awake and telling her to go to a different side of the house or something. Now, let's roll it back. I watch a lot of different body cam videos. I have never seen a body cam video where they are rescuing a person and tell them to stay in the house and go to the other side of the house. I ain't never seen it before. All right, so let's start with the girl is in 8th grade. She's not special needs, okay? The little girl is in 8th grade. Let's think about back when you were in 8th grade. Could somebody come to your school to come pick you up? Oh, that was the other thing. The story that the man gave was that it was a death in the family and he was a friend of the dad. Okay, I forgot to tell that part. So, you tell me, I was 10? I was 12 years old in the 8th grade. Okay, there is no way in heaven's hell I would have ever left with somebody who said they're a friend of my parent. You want to know why? Because I know all my parents' friends. I do. So my first thing would have been, actually, who are you? Never seen you before. So it was a very like questionable thing. So you know the internet. The internet immediately went to the mom's page. Now this just happened 2 days ago. The internet went to the mom's page and saw that July 9th, she was just talking about they found her daughter. Her daughter was a runaway. Now, this is not to say that a runaway kid can't, subsequently be kidnapped in the future. But it already looked sketchy from there. They also found that basically the guy who checked her out also checked his nephew out. I think they went to different schools, but when they found her at the house, they found his nephew. So what it sounds like is that your daughter was trying to get out of school to play hooky with this little boy. And he's catching charges from it. That's what it sounds like to me. I could be wrong, but that's what it sounds like to me. And unfortunately, the man is going to have to catch charges, but I would still sue the school, because regardless of what my teenage daughter wants to do, how did y'all let some man check her out, not get his ID, and he checked her out with his name? A kidnapper is not going to do that. Like, what? I don't know. Even on eye candles, is anyone not on the list? Exactly. Someone she's never met. Exactly. Who's gonna leave with a stranger? Come on. Let me tell you something. My nephew is 7 years old. Maybe it was last year. It had to be last year. Last year, now, mind you, obviously I'm Black. My nephew is my cousin's stepson, but that's my nephew because my cousin is my brother. And he is fully white, okay? He is the most pale, blue-eyed, blonde-haired kid you'll see, all right? So, I go to pick him up. You know what he says to me? Now, he didn't do to me like he did his grandma. He was like, hey, why are you here to pick me up? At 6 years old. He knew me, but he said, why are you here to pick me up? Granny comes to pick me up. Now, I'm going to tell you what he did to his grandma. Now, his grandma, which is my cousin's mother, she's very dark skinned. Her first day picking him up, y'all want to know what he did? He looked. She said, Cohen. His teacher said, Cohen, who's that? He said, I don't know her. He's a jokester. But I told him, you can't be joking like that. Because when he was like 2, I used to take him to the store with me. He'd be like, help me, help me. Little boy, you cannot do that. You gonna have me in jail. What are you doing? I told his mama, I will not take him to the store until he get out of this. Help me. I don't know what he used to watch on YouTube, because his little brother started doing it when he was about 2.5 as well. It's something that they watch on YouTube. But anyway, he was like, I don't know her. And so my auntie was looking like, what? So because she said that, guess what? It was a second teacher that started walking around her car to like look at her license plate. And he was like, I'm just kidding. So the story is that the school really did let her go because, and I think that it was a lapse in judgment on the secretary, because they said the guy was crying so hard about this family death that she started crying hard with him. So I think that maybe he just got her caught up. I don't know. But yeah, it sounds like she just wanted to go leave with that little boy. And if she did get a spiked drink with some drugs, it probably was something that she wanted to do. I'm not passing judgment. I don't know. This is just my opinion, but it just sounded a little crazy. Okay. All of it sounds crazy. My boys' school called me about every little thing. They would call me immediately. Exactly. Oh, you're a friend of the family? Let me call the mom and see. Y'all, I can't even take my niece and nephew to the doctor. Like, I have the kid with me. Okay, let me go ahead and call to make, like, come on now. I'm about to go, shit, let me tell you something. That little boy played too much. Help me. Little boy. But yeah, so now it's just more stuff coming out because the mom, because this is circling back to parents not holding their kids accountable. Um, so the mom was posting on social media that she was set up, her daughter was set up by some kids in another school. Then it came out she was set up by a boy named KJ. Well, then social media did its job and found out that KJ is a little boy that she's always being caught with. Now, again, this is not to say that the school is in the wrong, because they are. And the man is 44 years old. I don't know how you let some high school and middle school kids convince you to do that. So part of me hopes that the charges are dropped, because he did not kidnap that little girl. But because of the way that laws are written, it's almost like, what is the one? So like with murder, for instance, this is something that I learned when I was doing jury duty. It's not about how we interpret something, it's about how the law is. So remember when I told you how I hated those people that was on jury, no, not hated, but I strongly disliked those people that were on jury duty with me because they just were slow. We learned on the very first day that when it comes to a murder charge, if you have even a half a second to think about not pulling the trigger, it's murder automatically. No manslaughter here. Okay. But when we think about first degree murder, because of TV shows, movies, things like that, we think not the premeditation part, but yes, we think that first degree murder, most people think that it has to have premeditation with it. Meaning, I sat here for 2 weeks and thought about it. You have me on video going to Walmart to buy tarp and buy this and buy that. And then, 2 months later, I decide that I'm going to go ahead and do it. That's what we think about when we think of first degree murder. But that's not it. Somebody can be breaking into your house, and when you go retreat to go retrieve your gun, if you come back and their back is turned towards you because they are walking out of your front door, you can no longer shoot them, and it's murder. So from the kidnapping perspective, I don't know what the exact verbiage is on the law here when it comes to that, but I am wondering if, based on the verbiage, if it is going to stick with the kidnapping, because he still kind of like took a child that wasn't his, that he wasn't supposed to. But part of me wants the charges to be dropped. But ignorance is not above the law. You're just a stupid 44-year-old who let some stupid middle school and high school kids convince you to get this little girl out of school. So sending you the ass whooping and file charges against that grown ass man too. Absolutely. Yeah, she claims it was not a setup. Motel just can't hit nobody in the back. Absolutely. Yeah. But if you got that half a second, I can't tell y'all, like, when I was in jury duty, how I think that's really what pushed me over the edge with the stupid people I was in jury duty with, was whenever it came to like certain stuff like that, or they're just their irrelevant questions. Like, there was a guy who there were kids that had been breaking in cars in their neighborhood for like months. And so it was super late at night. He finally caught one of them. And so he went to get his gun. And they were driving away. And he ended up shooting into the car and killing one of them. Now, he didn't give a shit. He was like, look, I did what I did. It is what it is. The motherfuckers was pissing me off. But this was the stupid questions that were being asked during jury duty. Because I can talk about some of this stuff now that I'm not in jury duty anymore. One of the questions was, well, did he know that it was kids that was doing it? I'm sorry. Why does that matter? Whether he knew that it was a kid or an adult, you can't shoot into a car that's driving away. Another question. Well, did he know that he hit the person with the bullet? Because I just feel like, how can it be like, you don't know that you hit him with a bullet. Y'all, I used to roll my eyes so bad. I wear my face on my face. Okay, I can't hold it in. Because what are you talking about? If he didn't want to hit them, he would have shot the tire. Y'all, the things. Yep, you have no duty to it because she went willingly. Is there a difference between abduction and kidnapping? You know what? Let's look, because maybe that's the difference. Because she willingly went, it's probably kidnapping. Let's see. What's the difference between kidnapping and abduction? Kidnapping. So, kidnapping requires force or the threat of force with a specific intent, such as holding for ransom or committing another crime, while abduction is a broader term for taking someone away without consent, which can involve fraud or persuasion, but not necessarily force. Okay, so then it's abduction. And if that is the law, this is what like the little AI overview is saying. Let's see. Kidnapping.uslegal.com. Okay, they say the same thing. Although abduction and kidnapping were considered separate and independent crimes, they are not always mutually exclusive. Some state statutes have used the term abduct and abduction in defining the offense of kidnapping. So it says abduction is the unlawful interference with the family relationships, such as the taking of a child from its parent, irrespective of whether the person abducted consents or not. Kidnapping is the taking or detention of a person against his or her will and without lawful authority. So it says, and without lawful authority, which means it can't be kidnapping. It would have to be abduction. Chicago might as well plead guilty. They probably has pulled that stuff before and probably is a low-key sex. Actually, so people were looking up his rap sheet, and he don't have much of anything. So I don't know. You can't shoot out the windows, doors, on the street, outside. Nope. Did y'all see, speaking of, because let's talk about some crazy crimes. And yes, Chanel, I was in a room full of airheads. I got more stories I can tell you about that. Did y'all see the 36-year-old lady in Georgia who was watching 3 guys break into her house through her ring door, the front camera ring door or ring doorbell? Now you could clearly see, even though it was black and white, you can clearly see they had guns. You had the one that was actually actively breaking into the front door. You had the second one who had clearly had something big and black in his hand. And I wasn't paying attention to the third one. I didn't even watch the video a third time to pay attention to him. So she sees them breaking into her house. Y'all, why did she wasn't at home. Why she pull up in her Jeep? I think it looked like a Jeep. Pulled straight up to the front door, like through her lawn. As she's pulling in, they kill her. Shot all up and through that car. So, number one, there's really 3 things wrong with this. I don't know why. There could be nothing in your house that is that valuable, that's more valuable than your life. Let's start there. Number 2, I know you saw that big ass gun on the ring camera because I saw it. Number 3, because somebody asked me, we was talking about this on Xbox, I think maybe yesterday. They were like, well, did she have a gun herself? I said, well, it wouldn't matter because based on the law, you cannot shoot anybody to protect property. You have to protect life. So even if she had a gun driving up like that, you can't shoot them first. You got to let them shoot at you first, because now your life is in danger, or they have to kind of turn whatever. But she just drove up like, and I hate to laugh because she did die, but it's like to see that video of her just driving up and she barely in the camera with, like, the car just comes up and you just like, what are you doing? I don't understand. And if she pulled up to shoot them first, she wouldn't went to jail for murder. She would have. And it's 3. You saw there was 3 of them. I could see if it was one of them and you thought that there was 3 of them. What are you doing? But you can't shoot them first because you can't protect your property. Then you can't try to say, well, they shot at me first because you got a Ring camera. So everything about it was just so bad. Like, so bad. Can't shoot in the back when they're leaving, but if you catch them inside the castle, doctrine applies. I think it depends, insert name, because I've seen cases here in St. Louis where even though they were still in the house, because they were closer to the front door than they were like the back of, like they were closer to an exit, you can't prove that they weren't leaving. You can say whatever you want, leave me alone. Exactly. Take whatever you like. Just leave me the hell alone, okay? I still got a lot of life to live. Yeah, she was a real airhead. She didn't call the police first. See, I didn't see that part. No, ma'am. She didn't call the police first. Like, what would make you think? Listen, unless you had a Humvee with a big old missile on the front of it that you could have shot at your front door as you was pulling up, that was just crazy. Good morning, Timbo. Right, you pulling up my child. I can't. But yeah, y'all, like listen, I had some crazy cases. I forget how many cases I heard before I quit. It was well over 100 though. Like well. Actually, when I think about, let me see, because every week we did about maybe 20 to 30. So yeah, it was well over 100. I probably was pushing about two something before I quit jury duty. But yeah, like some of the questions that I heard, I've already told y'all about the questions where, like child neglect cases. And they'll be like, they didn't have family that could take them. Why are they going into foster care? Why are you asking about their family dynamic? Are you going to go adopt the fucking kids? You are wasting my fucking time here. The only thing we are here to do is to say whether we think there is enough evidence to try the case or not. That's it. Now, if you specifically asking like, hey, do they have this particular piece of evidence? Do they have this? You asking that's cool. But the sidebar conversations and questions was just so ridiculously stupid. Like, we had a couple cases where it was vehicular manslaughter, basically. Well, how fast were they going? I don't care if you kill somebody and you're going 15 miles an hour. Do they have proof that that person killed somebody with a car? Why does it matter if they're going 100 miles per hour or 15 miles per hour? Did they kill the person or not? What? So I had this one. Now, this had to be the craziest case I have ever heard. So there was a case where a guy was delivering drugs. Let's start there. He was delivering drugs. So he's waiting on the guys that he's trying to deliver drugs to. He decides to go in the store. I can't remember what kind of store it was, but he decides to go into a store. In the process of him being in the store, the people he was delivering the drugs to already knew what kind of car he had. So they pull up to the meeting spot, see he ain't in the car, see his book bag full of drugs is right there. So they take the drugs. They take the drugs, and as they are driving off, he comes out of the store and sees them drive off. He looks in his car, sees his drugs ain't there, and he realized they got my shit. He proceeds to call the police. Now let's start here. You are committing a crime yourself, and you're calling the police on somebody who just committed a crime against you. Let's start there. So, what he was not banking on was the fact that he called the police, and the police was already close in the area. So, the police luckily had just seen the car speed out of this parking lot. And because they got the call of what the car looked like, they realized that's the car that they're looking for. Now, obviously, he didn't tell them that they stole drugs. He just said they stole my backpack. I watched them. They got my backpack. So they're at a stoplight. The police has not turned on their sirens yet. They just know that they're behind the car that just committed the crime. So they are at the stoplight. The person that just stole the drugs is two people. That stole the drugs is in the car right at the light. The police is right behind them. Dude who just got his drugs stolen pulls up to the side of them. Kills one of them. Shoots right into the car. He don't know that's the police car because it's an unmarked police car. Shoots and kill him right in front of the police, y'all. Did you forget you called the police, sir? Y'all, the type of shit I had to hear is crazy. Like, you really learn that there's some really stupid criminals out here. Most of the time, police don't show up at 30 days. That is very true. In certain names, that's true. Yeah, my lifetime of crime pulling Lucille to work. Period. I fear for my life only if I'm already inside it. Y'all, listen. Like, when I tell y'all crazy stuff, I think I had to, I couldn't go into detail at the time, I think, but there was a guy who basically was buying boats in one of the counties. He was buying boats over here like an hour and a half away, and they had like, it was a family business, honey. He buying boats over here. They bring them back to their little shop. They change VIN numbers, do all this. No, actually, he initially was buying boats in another state and doing this, but they got so comfortable that they started buying boats about an hour and a half away. So they would bring them back to their shop and basically take parts from here, parts from there, whatever, change VIN numbers, whatever, and they go sell them. Okay. So it was working for a while, but the boy who was going out buying the boats and stuff and doing the majority of the work, honey, he was on he had an ankle monitor. He was on house arrest. So when they were trying to figure out who started committing the crimes an hour and a half away, it was so easy to catch him because, baby, your GPS monitor put you everywhere that you needed to be. And for people like that, it's like, you got some skills. Why you ain't putting those skills to use doing something else? Y'all, like, I'm telling y'all, the stuff that I had to hear, I just would be so confused. Like, I think what confuses me the most, like, this day and age is, number one, we have more than enough crime shows for you to know what to and what not to do. Let's start there. Number two, there are cameras everywhere. Everywhere there are cameras. You almost can't commit a crime nowadays. Because if it's not CCTV cameras from, stores, if it's not cameras from, cross sections, traffic lights and stuff, then it's Ring cameras. I just don't understand. I don't understand why people do some of the things they do. So then we had another case where basically it was a baby daddy and baby mama that was feuding. So they didn't want to do drop-offs to each other. So it was I think they were using his mom or something like that to drop the kids off at the mom's house. And so I'm pretty sure girl pulls up to get her kid and something happened. I think maybe she brought somebody else with her or something, probably for her own protection. You don't know how ghetto people are. So anyway, at some point or another, somehow, some way, the grandma with her, she had like grown, not, I wouldn't say super grown, but she had like some late teen, early 20 grandkids who I guess didn't like the girl. And so they proceed, as she's trying to go into the house to get her kid, they jump her. All right. And as she's leaving out, somehow, some way, she ends up getting shot and killed. Let me tell y'all what the question that was asked in jury duty. This question I used to hate I hate when people ask this question, it would piss me off. Did they say why they killed her? That question would piss me off so much, because why are you asking why criminals are criminals? Did he say why he decided to steal 25 sunglasses? Because he wanted them? Like, was the crime committed? Do we have the evidence? We don't really care about the why, because the why kind of doesn't really matter. Unless you do something where like you super high off drugs or something like that, and you being high off drugs causes you to go into psychosis and you truly don't know what you're doing. That's like the only why that actually matters, to be honest with you. Why? Shit, I don't even remember doing it. I was fucked up. I was high as hell. That's about it. See you, Pred. Have a great rest of your day. But yeah, I got some stories for y'all, because we're going to talk about some of them another day, because I'm telling y'all, like I said before, I loved jury duty for the simple fact of being able to hear about the cases. And I really loved how quickly, like, learning, okay, this is the day that it happened. This is when we was done with the case and had already gathered all this evidence, whatever. That was like my favorite part, because, sometimes we have a misconception that like police are not doing their job, because a lot of the louder things that you hear is cold cases and things like that. And we forget that there are a lot of cases that they solve, and they solve very, very quickly. And then I think also it was kind of, First 48 used to be one of my favorite crime shows to watch. And knowing what the statistics are when they don't solve the crime in the first 48 hours and seeing how quickly they solve things here it was pretty cool. It really was. And then I will say though that sometimes it was like, I don't even want to know that all these things are going on like right here around me. But then it was like, oh, these things are happening right around me. I have to be a little bit more careful. You know what I mean? But yeah, let me show you guys my accounts real quick. The one account is failed. I was going to fail it whether I failed it on stream or not. I was going to do that on purpose because, yeah, it is what it is. But let me show you guys this account real quick. Basically a break-even day, and that's only because of the trade that invalidated shortly after I got into, or shortly before the bar closed, and I just could not get out of the trade. But I still have $1,200 in drawdown on it. It does also kind of suck because like right when I got onto the charts, there were a couple of trades that were really I wanted to get into, but the volatility was just so high. I just could not catch it. So that's kind of how I ended up getting caught in the one trade I didn't actually want to be in, is because I couldn't catch those two trades. Like trying to get into them by buy clicking or sell clicking in after the bar closed. And so I'm like, okay, well, if it's closed, I'm just going to get in and try to break even out. And lo and behold, the time that I do it, can't break even out. It just didn't go. So It is what it is. People are not aware of things around them. They are not. And honestly, I've been like I think because I'm such an analytical person, I'm very like hyper aware of like everything that goes on around me, to the point where, let's say I'm driving and I might like do something like get over something like really weird, and my mom will be like, why'd you just do that? And then 2 seconds later she'll see a car zoom past us going 100, or something like that. But I'm just really aware of my surroundings. I remember when we went to Vegas a couple of years ago, because I've been in psych for so long, it's very easy for me to see when people are in psychosis, even if other people don't notice it. And so we were walking on the strip, and I'm talking, this guy was probably at least 3 or 4 blocks away. And I was like, Mom, we need to cross the street and go on this side of the street. And she's like, why? I was like, just trust me. We need to go on this side of the street. And so as we get a little bit closer, I'm like, you see that guy right there? He's definitely in psychosis. Like, he's in for real psychosis, and he can be very dangerous. And so she was like, how do you know that? I'm like, listen, just trust me. And so as we were walking on the other side of the street, and as we were passing him on the other side of the street, and we were getting closer to, being right across from him, my mom started hearing the things that he was saying and starting seeing his behavior, that he was like, some of the things he was doing as people were walking past him. And she was like, oh my God, he does look like something is going on. And I'm like, yeah, something's really going on. Like, it was beyond just like somebody high on drugs. Like, I could tell it was for real psychosis. But I'm like super aware like that. And that's one of the reasons why it was very difficult me living on my own when I was here in St. Louis. Now, when I'm in other states, I feel a lot more safe, because most other cities are safer than mine. Number one, I was still very like hyper vigilant and stuff, and just hyper aware, but I felt like it was being here, it was like from an unhealthy standpoint. And I just honestly, I don't really believe in women living on their own when they are in a dangerous city. I just don't. Because even going back to the lady who, got her car shot up as she drove into her yard, stuff like that. These guys were probably watching you. They saw you were a woman who was living on your own, saw what kind of schedule you have, probably been watching you, like, you just never know. So I just don't like living on my own, and I ain't going to. I had a few trades, and that the volatility took me out. I don't even think I marked them, but I know, like, let's see. I know there was a couple of trades, and it's just so annoying because so this is the trade I got stopped out of, that I actually did not want to be in the trade. And you can see I got stopped out just for it to go where I wanted it to go. I know no, it's not that one. I know it was a buy off of the support level, but it was here. So I wanted to get into this trade, but I was trying to wait until after the bar closed to do it. And because it was kind of like teetering the line of being valid or not valid. I think the point of control was moving or something. Something was happening. So I tried to get in at the close of the bar, and it just took off on me, went up 200 points. Not 200 points, 200 ticks. But where was it? This was one I was able to get out of. I forget where it was. But yeah, there was a couple of trades where I'm like, yo, I actually wanted to be in that. But it's just kind of weird because we've had such low volatility lately. And so eventually you get kind of like used to watching paint dry, and used to like, oh, the numbers are moving slow. It's good. I'm going to catch it. And then boom, you get hit with a day of volatility, and it's like, oh shit, wait, you're moving too fast. That was kind of me this morning. I just felt like discombobulated because I just got so used to the market doing absolutely fucking nothing. And I just wasn't able to catch some of the stuff that I wanted to catch. I'm pretty sure this was another trade I was trying to catch. Yeah, this was the other buy I was trying to catch. And it was the last little push up before we pushed down into a downtrend. But you already know the dangers of your city. Yeah. To LA and found out it's not all roses and sunshine. Listen, so I lived in California for 3.5 months. I did my first travel nursing stint out there. I was in Orange, California, so I wasn't like super far away from LA, but I had visited LA twice. No, I think maybe once. I think I visited LA once before I went out there for travel nursing, and then I went back a second time. And I guess maybe when you grow up in a city like where I'm from, you automatically have the assumption that no city is all like peaches and cream and, roses. But I still was surprised to a certain extent because people just hype LA up so much that I was just surprised that, I wasn't surprised at the amount of homelessness because it's such an expensive place to live. But I was surprised at how many homeless people are okay with being homeless as long as they're homeless in LA. That was very awkward to me. I did think it was pretty cool that Venice Beach, how a lot of the homeless population that are artistic, not autistic, that are artistic, they sleep in tents, and then their tents that they sell their art out of, then they just wake up and sell their art kind of thing. I thought that was actually pretty cool. Venice Beach was actually really, really fun to me both times that I went, or I think I went 3 times actually. I loved it, and I loved doing the little electric bikes going all the way to Santa Monica Beach. I thought that was like really the coolest thing ever. And it was just, the beach was so nice, but it's like, okay, but right when you go outside of the beach, it's just not that great. It's just not. Yesterday's high 67.28. It should tapped and dropped. I panicked. What? Oh no. No, why'd you panic? What? Let me see. Wait, what are you trading ES? 67.28 sounds like ES because it does not get cold. They clean the beach up. Too many businesses closed. Really? Yeah, see, I haven't been there since, when did I do my trial? I feel like it might have been 7, almost 8 years now. And I have not been back since. Yes, got you. I used to trade ES. So when I first started trading, I traded futures first. Then I went to Forex for a short period of time. I automatically did not like Forex because of the manipulation. And then I did binary options, and I went back to futures, back to Forex. I kind of like went all around town before I finally settled on futures. But at one point I was trading NQ, ES, crude oil, Russell 2000. I never liked the Dow. I traded golds. I used to trade the bond. I loved trading the bonds. I would do I think it was a 10. Did I go for 10 ticks or 20? I think I went for 10 ticks and 20 ticks because with the bonds, a tick is $31. So I used to trade the bonds mainly ZB and UB, but I used to trade TN as well and ZN as well. I think it's ZN. ES I liked for a little bit, but it just was like watching paint dry. Like for me, I knew that I didn't want to be one of those people that was on the charts all day, every day. So it was like, okay, I'm going to try to master the most volatile instrument during the most volatile hour of the market being open. And if I can't get something during that time, it's no way that I want to watch anything else. I think the only other instrument I would be willing to watch during the first hour of New York Open would be the Dow, honestly. I would say the Dow or maybe the Russell because those typically do move quite well. I think the only reason I didn't like the Dow is because I felt like the moves were so drastic for the price per tick and I just wasn't interested. NQ does get too wicked. Yes, it's the old man of futures. It's slow, but it moved. Yeah. I think when I first started trading Nasdaq, I'm pretty sure I have screenshots and videos from the price being like in the 11,000s. It was a nice trend today, Amelia. I got paid. Did you do your 50 points? How many trades did you take today? Just the one? I forget what ES was when I used to trade it, but I'm pretty sure it was like probably around 2,400 or something. Pretty sure it was. It was a choppy mess yesterday. Oh, but it wasn't on. That was the only choppy day for you this week, right? On Dow? Because I feel like Monday and Tuesday you caught really nice moves. You took 2 today? Nice. Nice, nice. Yeah, NQ is very wiki. That's why I knew it was going to take me a while before I settled into the way that I want to trade, because especially with me trading with such a tight stop loss. But I also knew that it can work. I just have to figure out how to do it. And I think I'm really getting settled into that. To be honest with you, I think the only thing that I'm going to have to do, besides, like I told you guys yesterday, I do need to redo my analysis sheet because I don't like the way that I wrote certain results in there. But oh yeah, so what I did yesterday, because I did tell you guys I wanted to open up the stop loss a little bit. So this is what I did. But I am missing some trades in there. My data starts July 22nd. But like I said, I am missing some data in there, which is fine. But so what I did yesterday was I went through my analysis sheet, all of the different setups, all of the different volume and order flow combinations, and I wrote down all the ones where, because I told you guys yesterday that I was thinking about opening up the stop loss to being halfway through the wick, which would be when I would write it on my analysis sheet, I would write L for loss, and then I would put negative however many ticks. So I basically went through and looked at which volume and order flow combinations has any losses that are less than 10 ticks, like wick out by less than 10 ticks, and the other trades for that volume and order flow combination are wins. Primarily wins. There could be some like, hey, I had to break even at a support level because I'm selling kind of thing. It could be that, but it needed to be majority wins. And so I wrote down all of those different examples. So I wrote like, what's the setup? Was the entry bar attached to a level or not? If it was, are we buying at support or buying at resistance? And then I wrote down whatever the point of control location was, and if it was a continuation or a trap. And so I went through and wrote those down, and then I went through the few days of data from this week, because remember last week I was trading with bid ask, so I don't have the data from last week to be able to add to my analysis sheet. So I just went through this week because I haven't added this week yet, and I went through to see like, okay, are there any examples from this week that also fit these? And so some of these combinations I don't even have written as a setup for myself, because those trades where I would get wicked out by anywhere from 1 to 10 ticks, I don't want to be wicked out like that, so I just won't include that as a combination, when in reality it's just too tight of a stop loss. So like there's one line where there's 9 times that it set up and it won 5 times and broke even. I would have to break even at a level 4 different times. So obviously that's a really, really good example of like, hey, I should take this setup when it happens. Now, what I have told you guys though is that being on the 20 tick chart, obviously I'm not going to get as many trades in as when I'm on a 16 tick chart. But I'm trying to find the 20 tick chart as being that happy middle ground for now, until I figure out like, how can I determine what the volatility will likely be today? I know I can't base it off of the VIX. I think there's a way that I'll be able to use the ATR to do it, but that's going to take some time. I really want to redo this analysis sheet first, but once I figure out like how to estimate what the volatility will likely be outside of new Trump tweets or new Trump news, then I'll be able to kind of go back and forth between the 16 and 20 tick charts safely. That way, on days like Monday, Tuesday, even yesterday when it was really, really choppy, when we have the lower volume or the lower volatility days, I can be on the 16 tick chart and still get some good trades in. Yes, my stop loss will be even tighter, but when it's a choppier range like that, it's fine because again, I'm gonna still open up the stop loss a little bit. So I think it's gonna end up working out, but we'll see. We'll see. So that's probably what I will focus on next week because I do plan to have this new analysis little sheet thing done by Sunday. So we'll see what happens. So money for the week so far. Only choppy day, my drawdown is like $300, which is nothing usually. This one. Oh yeah, $300 in drawdown. That's not bad at all. That is not bad at all. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and journal, get some of this stuff done so I can relax a little bit. And I've already printed my sheets for my new analysis sheet, so I can kind of start that process. But yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings. I basically still have 2 accounts left. The one that I failed today actually renews on Saturday, which is why I was gonna fail it today no matter what. And that other account is still like about $770 away from passing. I'm just kind of sitting on it a little bit because I do feel pretty comfortable going back to up down tick, to be honest with you. I don't think I had any. I think I had a no trade day. Monday I think was a no trade day. Tuesday I was break even. Yesterday I lost the one trade, and that was the one that wicked me out. So it went like, it stopped me out by a point and then went down 100 ticks. That trade right there was where I was like, nah, I've been thinking about opening up the stop loss, and that particular trade since July 22nd has never lost at all. And that was the only loss, and it was because it wicked me out by a point, and that's why I was like, yeah, stop loss is just too tight, and that's fine. And then we have today where I'm basically break even. So I've said from the beginning of me using up down tick that I liked it better, but I guess I've just been trying to allow the internet to convince me otherwise. Even I told you guys when I was dealing with issues with the order flow indicator, and I'm telling them like, you know, hey, I noticed this, I noticed that, whatever. And when they ask me my settings and I'm like, yeah, I use up, down, tick, da, da, da. Well, you know, you're supposed to, don't tell me what the fuck. You have settings that are customizable for a reason. Why are you telling me what I'm supposed to be doing or what I'm supposed to be using? Like, that's stupid. So I think that I really kind of hold myself a little bit and pushed my own progress back by allowing the internet to tell me to use the most popular setting when I think that I just need to be here. It's what makes the most sense for Renko's, and I'm going to stay here. And I haven't had to make very many adjustments this week. It's mainly been actually adding things back in because I made it pretty restrictive when I came back to up down tick. But I think this is where we're going to end for sure. But we'll see. So I thank you guys for tuning in. Great stream today. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Please like the video on your way out if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. But other than that, I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, guys.